What is going on, everybody? We are live for Mimosa Mondays. And yeah, this is only and strictly orange juice in my cup, if YouTube is wondering. We don't drink on camera. We only drink orange juice on camera because it's healthy. And full of vitamin, what is it about? C and D? I don't know. It stop you from getting sick. I tell you that. What's going on, people? It's a Mimosa Monday kind of day, man. It's like, I know for y'all in the States and in Europe, shout out to my UK fans. It's probably all warm and nice outside. Nah, it's cold today. It is not summertime in Rio right now. It is actually autumn. It is autumn. So, and usually it's hot, but for the last 2 days, actually, it's been kind of cold. So, what better way to start the day than a mimosa? What better way to start the week, especially after last week? We got a order on how things work. So we actually have YouTube subscriptions activated now. So if you are a YouTube subscriber, that will get precedence. Super chats get second precedence. Rockfin subscribers too have precedence. By the way, Rockfin people, I ain't forget about y'all. I actually have my other screen up now so I can see y'all. Because before y'all was getting hidden, I was getting hidden behind my other stuff. So I apologize for the last couple Mimosa Mondays where I didn't catch y'all's questions until later on. And then I will also sometimes answer random questions that I find interesting from the crowd. Who got, damn, I'm at work, won't be able to watch a lot. Damn, Reeve, that's crazy. Another coup attempt in Ukraine. What other coup attempt? I must have missed that. Y'all gonna have to, y'all be asking me about questions sometimes. I'm like, hold up, boy, it's Monday. If y'all gonna ask me something like a coup attempt, there needs to be some background information. Cat 83, what's going on? Excess deaths have been on my mind a lot since the rollout of science juice. Many friends and family who took it. I'm fearful that we are not out of the woods yet. Do you feel like this is over? No, I don't. I actually am constantly worried about that with my family and friends. Because I did have a couple of family members that were forced to take it. Didn't want to take it, but you know, they had their jobs forced them to. You know, and not everybody took the same one, but like right now, I'm in a situation where, like, my wife was forced to take it, and she is getting headaches all of a sudden, like consistently. So we had to go to a neurologist and do an exam to figure out what's going on, because she didn't have them before, and she said she had them a little bit right after she took it, and then it went away, and then she had them a little bit when she was pregnant, but then we thought it was just the pregnancy causing it. But now they're consistent. They're coming every single day, and we're not really sure why. So yeah, they're like that's and she took it. Aldous didn't. Our baby obviously won't. And because back, I think in Brazil at the time, in order to take public transportation, a lot of the times they required you to take it, at least for the adults. So yeah, man, I don't think we're out of the woods yet. Hell, I mean, I feel like it's clear evidence that we're not out of the woods, because all of a sudden you have Fauci coming back out and doing the rounds to try and justify what he did, right? So how they handle that situation. I ain't that damn short. I had to fix that. So yeah, I'm not really confident we're out the woods yet, unfortunately. Brandon Burke's going on. There's no doubt they attacked themselves. Their last false flag, the short selling before the event, just like 9/11. Hold on, what are you referring to? Do I have any family in France? I do not have any family in France. Not that I know of. I could, but they would be distant relatives that I have no contact with. So, so for all intents and purposes, no. The jab gave you an 8-pound tumor. What? That is crazy. I'm so glad you got out of that. That's wow. Yeah, the damage that the jab has done to women has been crazy. You know, like because it said black. So men specifically, for example, had heart issues, but the reproductive systems of women, not just the ability to have a baby, but like all aspects of the reproductive systems, have been affected in a lot of cases. So they try to put out some weird study that was done by the NIH claiming that that wasn't the case. But even in the study, they said, well, we didn't actually test enough people to know if this information is actually worthy of what it claims to prove, which is weird. I'm like, then why didn't I just study more? I don't understand why I didn't just because they were getting a result that didn't favor the dominant narrative, which is that the jab had no effect on women's reproductive systems, which is absolutely insane. I don't know how they even thought that. Like literally, you're rewriting DNA. I don't understand how that was not going to be impacted in one form or another. They were telling pregnant women to go get it. Like that's insane. They tell pregnant women to stay away from damn near everything, and they're like, yeah, but go get this random untested jab. The damage to testicles and sperm isn't apparent yet. Yeah. You know, I'm hoping, I'm praying for you. But for blood, it is. I remember during the pandemic, right? It was like towards the end, middle-ish. I don't know. I was in Miami, so for us, my pandemic timeline's a little bit fuzzy because we were partying. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Y'all were stuck in the house. Miami was done after 3 weeks. We like, damn that, we can't do this. Y'all gotta open this shit up or we're gonna burn this bitch down. So my timeline is a little bit fuzzy, but I think it was towards the middle or the end. And I started getting emails. And I always get emails from blood drives because I have O negative blood. So that wasn't really new, but I just decided to open it up because I know a lot of people were joking at that time. Yeah, man, it's having blood that isn't affected by what somebody called what do they call it? The juice, the science juice. There you go. So let's go with science juice. Having blood that isn't affected by the science juice is actually going to be a commodity. And I received an email where they said specifically, we are looking for O negative blood, but if you've taken the science juice, disregard, basically. So I was like, damn, it's already starting. It is already starting. We won't know, man. I'm hoping and praying that this is something that can be cleared out of one's system over time. But we still got athletes, for example, who are dropping dead in their mid-20s, early 30s, peak of their physical prime. And everyone is acting as if that's normal. Everyone's acting as if Bronny James having a heart attack at 18 years old, for example, LeBron James' son, they acted like that was normal. But everybody knows he was in LA during the whole thing. They know it's likely for him to have been able to play basketball. He would have had to taken it like everybody else. And this is a kid who's working out in this almost as much as his dad is in LeBron's workout machine. And although LeBron was in a position where he would be forced to take it, his kids would be. And so having heart attacks at 18 years old is not normal. Having college students drop dead at 18, 19 years old, which has happened since then, is not normal. And for anyone that pretends like it is, they're lying to you. Eric Huzo heard that the Biden crime family is furious at CNN. Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine, they just came out with they did a segment on the polling after the debates. It was released last night. And boy, when I tell you, it ain't looking good. It ain't looking good at all. There was already a lot of people that thought that Biden shouldn't run due to his age and his mental decline. Yeah, that number is like 70-something% now, 73 or something, 73, 74%. Matter of fact, if y'all want, I can actually see if I can find that video and show it to y'all, because it was something that got released recently. So I'm pretty sure it's still on mine. Give me 1 sec. Might even be my history. I just was watching it and laughing like, oh, there we go. Here it comes, guys. All of a sudden, that replacement theory looking a little bit more legitimate, huh? Shout out to everybody who's been around when everybody was trying to call me crazy. Like I haven't done this already. Like, we haven't been through this. Like, we don't know somebody can be replaced at the convention. We know this. Many of y'all have been here since the DNC fraud lawsuit. So y'all know what time it is. I don't know why people are acting like it's impossible for him to get replaced, even if he goes through. No. If he goes to the convention, that don't change a damn thing. I don't know why people keep saying that. If anything, it would be ideal, because any candidate that they release right now, to be frank, would be hold on, where is my damn history at? Any candidate that they release right now, guys, would be too open to criticism. Oh, found it. Hey, let's check. Y'all want to check this out? We're gonna check it out. Because anytime you hear about the mainstream media, the mainstream liberal media specifically, switching up on their masters, it's a good day. So this would be why the Biden family might be a little bit upset with CNN at the moment.
New reporting that President Biden's family is encouraging the president to stay in the 2024 race, defying calls for him to step aside following his alarming performance on Thursday's debate. The family is meeting at Camp David.
It's an alarming performance. That is a very specific choice of word. Alarming performance. Also, elder abuse.
Tonight, this is part of a planned gathering that was scheduled before the debate, we're told. And the message out of that meeting, at least for now, appears to be support for the president to continue pursuing a second presidential term. CNN's Priscilla Alvarez joins us now in Washington. Priscilla, what's your latest reporting at this hour?
Well, the president is huddling with his family following the immediate fallout of his debate performance on Thursday night, and Biden advisors are telling CNN that his family is encouraging him to stay in the race and supporting him and expressing that support, including Hunter Biden and the president's grandchildren. These advisors also saying that the conversations have been focused on how the family can help the president and not whether he should reconsider his candidacy. Of course, all of these conversations follow what has transpired since Thursday night's debate, as there have been calls for the president to withdraw from the race, including in editorial boards, as well as all corners of the Democratic Party. Now, the president himself has also been collecting data anecdotally and through public polling as he too tries to assess what folks are feeling across the party. And that has been a deep concern. Panic has certainly set in. Donors have been racked with anxiety over the president's poor performance on Thursday night. Now, the president, of course, did participate in a fundraising blitz over the weekend where he too conceded that Thursday night was not his best debate performance, but said that he would continue to fight and that he wanted to stay in the race. But the president and his campaign are certainly, Allison, under great scrutiny tonight. And what we know so far from the huddle that he had with his family at Camp David today is that he has the support of his family and their encouragement. Of course, that is no small thing. These are key players in President Biden's orbit and have been crucial.
Let's be clear. Y'all not good family members. He does not have good family members. That man said we beat Medicare. We finally beat Medicare. And y'all like, yeah, he's good to go. Go ahead and put him back out there. That's crazy. I pray my family never does me like this, man.
In a lot of his decision making when it comes to running for president.
Priscilla, thank you very much for all of that reporting. We're joined now by CNN senior data reporter Harry Enton. He was here to run the numbers. So, Harry, do we have new poll numbers for President Biden post-debate?
We do. You know, CBS News YouGov conducted some polling post-debate. We can compare it to the pre-debate numbers. And the bottom line, Al, it's not any good. It's not any good. Look at this. Voters who say that Biden has the mental health to be president, it was just 35% pre-debate. Look where it's dropped to now post-debate, 27%. How about that he should be running for president? It was 37% pre-debate. It's now 28%. I have never seen numbers this bad for an incumbent president during my lifetime. I mean, that mental health to be president, just 27%. You might say, okay, you know, that's low, but a lot of people thought Biden was too old back in 2020. These numbers look nothing like this back in 2020. These numbers were bad.
Do you know how insane it is, guys, that this is even a conversation? Do y'all understand how insane this is? I feel like sometimes when we talk about Biden's mental state, it's contextualized like, man, that man is really, he shouldn't be doing anything, let alone running a country. Yeah, that's cool. But it's the fact that we allowed this to happen. Well, we didn't allow it to happen, but you know what I'm saying? Like the country as a collective, that there are people in powerful places who see 27% of the country, or at least in this poll, don't even believe this man has the mental capacity to run for president. And everybody's like, okay, you know, that's not cool, but hey, man, we can work with that. No, 27% of the country, which, duh, if anybody watched the debate or literally the last 3 years, 27% of the country is like, this man is not all there. And yet we still have politicians that are like, but Trump. When the question should really be, but why do we only have these two options? But why has the system put us in this predicament? But why are we validating this system by pretending like these two options are legitimate? When I say by pretending like these two options are legitimate, I'm saying we have a system that's put in place that has ensured that only two people can make the debate stage. Why is our debate stage controlled by CNN or Fox News or MSNBC or CBS? Why is our debate stage controlled by private corporations? Because y'all know that it was CNN. At first, it was the Democratic Party and the Republican parties that worked together to choose the debate requirements. Now it's private corporations separately deciding what those qualifications are, and those qualifications can move every single time. And because of that, we have a system that allowed one guy who, you know, this man got a bunch of felony charges, but a lot of them are legitimate. Okay, I'm willing to admit that Biden is using the executive branch, the judicial system that belongs to the executive branch, to prosecute his political opponent. I'm fully aware of that. But hell, all I'm saying is a black man can't get away with that, right? The average person. They were trying to take Bernie out once upon a time because his wife got in some trouble at Vermont, at a college in Vermont that she used to work at, right? Let alone be able to get away with multiple felonies, even the accusations of such, right? And then you got Joe Biden, who's senile. And then not only is he senile, but his family, Hunter, is also with legal problems that are directly connected to his campaign that are more legitimate, that he's been prosecuted for, and is still undergoing investigation for. That is what our system. So, like, how did we get here? Why is this even a conversation? It is insane that we're like, man, but does he still have a legit chance to win? Does he have a legit chance to still run the country? 27% of the people polled say this man is not there anymore. His body is present, but his brain is on vacation, and we do not have an ETA in which his brain will return. And we are still having a comment. It's bizarre to me. It's like the world is just like lulled to sleep. Well, no, I can't even say that, because I will say that I was kind of surprised at the reactions the next day for the debate. There were people that don't even comment on politics that were like, holy shit, I'm just not realizing how crazy this shit is. Yeah. We try to tell y'all. Let's watch the rest of this video.
Bad already. And the truth is, Allison, they have gotten just considerably worse, even in just a few days after that first presidential debate.
Harry, do we have polling yet that suggests that voters want a different candidate?
Yeah, this is the whole question, right? If it's not President Biden, then who could it be on the Democratic side? And the truth is, there are no easy answers. You know, I went back and looked at the polling versus Donald Trump for a bunch of different Democrats have been suggested. Gretchen Whitmer, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris. Look at this. They all trail Donald Trump. So the idea here that we're somehow going to get this magic bullet, that there's somehow going to be some Democrat who can beat Donald Trump easily, I just don't see it in the numbers. At this particular point, if Joe Biden takes on Donald Trump, he's trailing. If there's another Democrat who runs against Donald Trump, they too are trailing. Perhaps you want to make the argument you bring in another Democrat who isn't as well known as Joe Biden, who's has universal name recognition, and maybe they could change the numbers. But the fact is, any Democrat who entered the race right now, at least among those that are being suggested by a bunch of folks, they would all enter the race at this particular point as an underdog to former President Donald Trump.
But Harry, are those numbers old numbers?
So I feel like that's one of those duh moments, right? I don't know why we're pretending like Trump wasn't popular. It's weird to me that they do this. Y'all knew this. Y'all knew this when you elected Joe Biden the first time. Y'all knew this when y'all effectively cheated to make him the president, right? To make him the Democratic nominee. You knew this. You knew that Trump was the most popular incumbent in incumbency history. And instead of setting the stage to, you know, because if the biggest threat is Donald Trump and you're worried about that, then set the stage so you can have whoever wants to be president and whoever has the best campaign, best policies, most popular policies, let them have a legitimate chance to win. And then you can do whatever, because this is the Democratic Party. You can do whatever you want to after that. We know that y'all love to literally change the rules at the last minute in order to get the result you want. And it's almost like, once again, ladies and gentlemen, they don't care about beating Donald Trump. Right? That's what it seems like. It looks like we're at the point once again that they're realizing, oh man, everybody's paying attention again because Donald Trump is involved. And it is more about getting ratings in some instances, but on the other side, it's about having a boogeyman. But the problem is you have a lot of Democrats now who are afraid that they're going to lose their races because Joe Biden is that bad. Joe Biden is that bad. But Gavin Newsom has never and ever been more popular than Donald Trump. Okay? Kamala Harris shouldn't have even been the VP pick. It's no surprise to anybody. She wasn't even kind of the most popular in her party, let alone the most popular in the country. Okay. Gretchen Whitmer, I don't know why her name keeps getting thrown out there. Nobody likes her, and she killed a bunch of old people. She put a bunch of COVID patients in an old folks' home, in a nursing home, so that she can get more money from the federal government during the pandemic. I don't even know why she's on that list. Because once that gets put out there again, she's screwed. So I don't know why I don't know how she made the list. Okay. Like, you all knew this. So what I believe will likely end up happening, like I've said time and time again, it'll be Hillary. It's setting the stage like, look at these names, guys. These names don't work. They don't have the name recognition. They can't compete against Trump. They can't go toe-to-toe with this man. And you know, Hillary come out of nowhere. But we got somebody who can save the day. And lo, baby Jesus, if the Democrats get a chance, y'all, to run a white woman with a black, quote unquote, black woman against Donald Trump, oh my God. Y'all think they wouldn't jump on that, bro? You know, Democrats, they don't run elections. They write movie plots. That's literally how they campaign. What would a good movie plot look like? And that's how they campaign. That's usually how they make their decisions. So I just found it interesting when Eric said that the Democrats are excuse me, the Biden campaign specifically is pissed right now. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. CNN has said, yeah, we not, we can't. Remember, CNN got bought out. This is not the same CNN from last election. This is not even the same CNN from a few years ago. Right? This is CNN. They're like, look, man, we together, man, but like, if it stand between us and getting money, we got to go. We gotta go our separate ways, but we still with you. We together, but we separate. You know what I'm saying? We're separate but equal. Hey, look, I feel him. I was surprised too by the coverage. It was also kind of weird how everybody like loved Biden. Y'all gotta Eric Huzo, thanks for the super chat. Do these fools really think that a senile narcissist will give up power? Fantastic. Yeah, right. But I couldn't even my grandma, you know, rest in peace. Whenever she was going through her stages of dementia before she passed away, my grandma didn't want to give up the power to control the television. She didn't want to we were like, Grandma, you had diabetes. You can't eat this stuff. She didn't want to give up her Coca-Cola. Being senile does not better your decision-making skills. In fact, it makes you more self-centered and more self-important because you feel like the world is now turned against you. I don't know why that's part of the process, but that happens. Especially when you're used to being in charge, when you're used to having power. But I still maintain that there is the belief that there's a wave or a wall of protection that Biden, or at least his aura, his network, can offer those who have engaged in the most corruption and also who have engaged simultaneously in the persecution of Donald Trump so they can maintain office. And if Trump gets power again, there is a high likelihood, because they just put this man through hell, right? For the last 4 years, really, for the last 8 years. But they just put this man through hell, okay? And he might want to get his get back after all this. And I'm not really sure I blame him for wanting to get his get back after all this. If somebody tried to prosecute me, it's got my supporters sitting in jail. A lot of them haven't, for January 6th, a lot of them haven't even been charged with anything, guys. Right? They try to say he committed a coup. There's belief that the election was stolen from him. And now after the election was stolen from him, and he was really not allowed to challenge it in the way that he should have been allowed to challenge it, that is a objective fact. That is an objective truth. And it's because of the way our system is set up. After he had that election stolen from him, they didn't try to prosecute him. And no one, anytime he tried to bring attention to the fact that the election likely was stolen from him, there was some peculiar tabulations. They bring up January 6th and pretend like he committed a coup or tried to. So yeah, if I was Trump, I probably want to get my get back too. And there's a fear. So there's a fear. Not only can Biden shield us from the consequences of our corruption, but if Trump gets it and Biden is not there to shield us from our corruption, the Democrats screwed. A lot of those powerful Democrats are going to be screwed, because the way it went down last time, where Trump was kind of a little bit more reeled in, they reined him in a little bit, right? I don't think that's the Trump we would get this time. I think you would get, at least as far as prosecuting the competition, I think you're getting balls to the wall, Trump, if he wins this time, because of everything he just went through over the last 4 years. Not to mention, the SCOTUS just gave this man immunity. I don't know if y'all heard about that. The SCOTUS just gave this man immunity. Did y'all hear? It just came out this morning. They said, yeah, actually, Trump does have immunity when it comes to January 6th, which overturned a previous ruling in the federal court. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know. We're going to see. Brandon Burks. What's going on, Brandon? Israel short sold stock only on Israeli company just before the attack. They made tens of billions. They got harbor agreement amounts of money. Yes, that is a fact. The Israelis did it once before, days before 9/11. That is also a fact. Niko, are you Mimosa? Yes. Mimosa, I like that. I had to take another sip for that one. Well, it wasn't just Israel that sold. There were stocks that were moving on the U.S. stock market too. We really quick, y'all. I want y'all to watch while we're here. If y'all have not seen it yet, I did a video covering my super serious feedback and takeaways on the debate, and I feel like everybody really should watch it because I just feel like people just haven't really been doing serious commentary. And like, if no one's gonna do serious commentary, I'm gonna do it. Okay? Because I'm a responsible journalist and I take this stuff super seriously. Okay? So we're gonna watch this. Last night, two candidates faced off and had a serious discussion about the future of our country so that people could make an educated decision about who they want to vote for to lead them going forward. And I gotta say, I am very disappointed. I've seen the memes, people joking online, and I feel like people are not taking this moment seriously enough. So I'm going to give my takeaways and what I've learned since no one else seems to want to have a serious discussion. If your backswing ain't right, are you even qualified to run for president? Why are you even trying? Because how can you lead a country if you can't drive that ball 200 yards?
Now watch this drive.
Another important thing that I learned is that unfortunately, Groupon does not offer discounts on language apps. So you're going to have to pay that premium price if you want to learn another language fast enough to move to another country because you're so traumatized by what you witnessed last night during the debates. I learned that Walmart greeters are severely overqualified for their jobs.
Morning. Welcome to Walmart.
At your age, if you can complete the sentence, welcome to Walmart, you shouldn't be settling for some minimum wage job in a Walmart supercenter. You are literally qualified to, at minimum, be the president of the United States. Because at relatively the same age, Biden can't complete a single sentence. And he's been president for the last 4 years. So completing a sentence at your age already makes you more qualified than the current president. Go get it back. I also learned that we're actually all ageist because for the last 3 or so years, whenever anyone expressed concern about Biden's mental state, we were told that we were discriminating against his age. But after last night's debate, his entire party is worried about his mental state. So we have a serious epidemic of age discrimination in this country that we have to take seriously and eliminate at all costs. I think we also learned that Trump is actually more humble than people give him credit for. This is a man who has always revered himself as the greatest salesman of all time. I mean, he literally wrote a book called The Art of the Deal. He was so confident in his ability. But last night, realizing that Zelensky can just step foot in Washington, D.C. and leave with billions of American taxpayer dollars, he had to relinquish that title. And he was humble enough to call Zelensky the best salesman in the world.
Every time that Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever.
And honestly, I thought that was pretty cool, man. So I think that we might have been a little bit too harsh in judging Trump and not acknowledging how willing he is to give credit where credit is due. I learned that even Wikipedia can make mistakes. You know, they accidentally listed Joe Biden as Joe Biden's wife when I think they meant to give her the title of Joe Biden's full-time caretaker. And I really do have a lot of respect and admiration for just the way that she supports him through this very difficult time he's going through with his mental state, even going so far as to congratulate him, to make sure to congratulate him for being able to answer all the debate questions.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts.
It just shows she really has a heart of gold, and she takes her job as a full-time caretaker really seriously. And I feel like that, you know, something to admire. We also learned that, unfortunately, Joe Biden's drug dealer is probably out of a job now. He had one job last night, which was to come up with some Adderall cocaine cocktail that could keep Biden awake at least long enough to complete a sentence. And that was definitely not what happened. So, you know, y'all be looking out for his LinkedIn account, because I'm sure he's going to be applying to some new jobs soon. Yeah. Also, we learned that we beat Medicare. And I didn't even know we were in a fight against Medicare. But I'm glad we were able to handle that threat so quickly and proficiently.
Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
So kudos to Biden for that. But just for the last thing, I want to talk about the unsung heroes. And I think you all know who I'm talking about. Shout out to those podiums. Shout out to those podiums. Y'all toughed it out as two candidates used you as their support to shit on the country for 90 straight minutes, and y'all didn't complain one single time. You two podiums are pillars of resilience and dexterity, and we honor your sacrifice. Yeah, man. So like I said, bro, I had to do some serious commentary because nobody else wanted to. So I had to do some real takeaways that the American people could use going forward when deciding which person that they're going to fake vote for, because your vote doesn't really count. So yeah, hope y'all enjoyed that. Make sure y'all go follow Hotspot too, man. Y'all go show us some love out there. Nick did some great commentary. Here's a little bit more serious. This was actually serious. I just was like, nah, man, I can't. After I was watching the debate, bro, and I almost cried. Not from like literally being sad. I just almost cried from laughing because I couldn't believe. It was a sad, funny cry. You know, like, oh man, this is so sad. I'm gonna laugh because I got to stop myself from crying. So now I'm crying. But in those situations, like I said, it was so bad, y'all, that when my wife was watching it, she doesn't even understand English, but she could see. She could see, like, hold up, should he be talking like that? Why does he look like decrepit talking about Biden? I was like, so yeah, our president has dementia. And I've mentioned it briefly here and there before. Shout out to Old Crow, man. Appreciate you. Thank you. We got a new member you are our first new member. We had members before, but y'all know we got hit by our demonetization. They took us out the partner program. So Old Crow is he's officially our new member. And we'll have access to our extra content, behind the scenes stuff, videos, and all that good stuff, man. So shout out to Old Crow, our newest and first new YouTube member. Appreciate you, man. So, but yeah, like I had to tell her, remind her, I'm like, yeah, no, our president has dementia. And she thought before, when I mentioned this, that it was a joke. And it was not a joke. I was like, no, he really does. I wasn't joking. She's like, well, why would y'all have a president that has dementia? Why do people vote for that? I was like, well, first of all, it would be a lot to assume that everybody voted for it. But the fact that there was even enough people to vote for it is a problem too. I agree. She was like, well, then is he going to win? I was like, I don't know. Well, does everybody know he has dementia? I'm like, yeah. Was this apparent last time? Yeah, it was actually. He's also a segregationist, so there's that. And she was so confused. She was like, I don't get it. Why did he win then? I was like, we don't really have a democracy in the US. I know that's not like their election system, in case y'all didn't know, is by far way more secure. So they have problems. There's a lot of corruption. But as far as their elections are actually concerned, they have to do if any rigging is done, and there's only a short window to do it, by the way, in Brazil, because they have a limited amount of time to campaign. So there's a very short window to rig an election here. And it all has to be done before anyone gets to the ballot box, because their election systems are like locked tight. Okay. Which is why, but when Bolsonaro challenged it, it was just dismissed so quickly because it's like Bolivia or Venezuela. They just have so many metrics, including fingerprint method, to make sure that whoever you voted for actually gets to vote. So yeah, but she even was like, she don't even understand English, guys. And she was like, what the hell is going on here? Why does he look like that? He should look like he should not be running a country. Or he looked like he shouldn't even be running a bed and breakfast, let alone running the country. I was like, yeah, you're correct. I was like, now you know why I be so stressed out and pissed off all the time. Now you know I live in Brazil. Oh, Crow. Niko, hear me on this. A sports talk panel stream with you and Nick, where you can also link the issues. Me and Nick have actually discussed that. Funny enough, that is something that we've discussed in the past. It's we just have to kind of have we have to find the time frame in which we can do it and figure out which channel we would do it on. We might end up doing it on both of our channels. We don't know, but that's something that we're both interested in doing. It would likely be basketball centric, maybe football. Like we're both kind of, I mean, you know, I think he's a Kansas City fan, so probably football too. But yeah, it's something that we've discussed in the past. We're trying to figure out a time and a format that we can do something different that includes politics. And sports is something that we brought up, even in pop culture too. Because there's a lot of stuff that we have a lot of the same interests, and we have, you know, unique perspectives and unique talking points that we can link, because everything is related, right? We know that. So, but yeah, I'll run it by Nick again, man. We'll see what we can get done. Blar gifted Niko House 5 memberships. Oh man, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Very generous of you. City Dreamer already took advantage of one. Appreciate you. He said, well, he isn't running. Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, we already know Biden isn't running the country. We know Biden isn't running the country. Like, come on, guys. Like I said in my a few hotspot videos ago, I said, look, if you wanted any proof that Biden is not running the country, not even the debate, the G7 summit was a perfect example. This man had to get, y'all know what's crazy? He had to get helped off a stage again after the debate. He had to get helped off the stage after the G7 summit. He had to get help off stage after the debate. He had to get help off stage at, what was it, NCANT once upon a time. Bro, I don't understand what's up with his beef in stages. There is generally only 2 directions that you can exit. And normally, during most events, they simplify the process, and there's only 1 direction you can go. And normally everybody's over there waiting for you. I mean, other than off the front of the stage, which with Joe Biden is highly possible. He could fall off the front of the stage. But I don't know what's up with his beef in stages. Oh, I do. It's because he has dementia. So there's that. So. Y'all see that Time magazine? The Time magazine, I don't think it's a cover, but it's definitely, let me see if I can find it. It isn't a cover, but it was something that Time magazine put in one of their articles. So he's been officially immortalized in the worst possible way. Oh yeah, here, I found it. I found it. Oh, this is real. This is real. This is one of those if you know, you know type of moments. When I first saw this is from, what is it? Oh, this will be. Oh no, it is gonna actually be the cover of Time magazine on August 5th. Oh no, I thought they just put it in the article, but it's actually going to be a cover. Oh my God, that's crazy. He's been immortalized in the worst possible way. In the worst possible. Jesus Christ. Oh man. Oh man, this is crazy. So when I first saw this come up on Twitter last weekend, or this past weekend, I thought, like, nah, this ain't real. And what I love about it is the like I said, it's like if you know, you know element. If you've been paying attention, if you've been paying attention, that we don't really have to tell you what this is. But if you've been locked in, right? Or in Brazil, they say, está ligado. If you've been paying attention for the last 4 years, then you know what the hell this means. And it's hilarious. And if you don't know, then people are going to be like, what is this even referring to? And you're going to get a whole host of videos. You're going to get a whole host of videos of all the times Biden has been walking in this direction, walking in the wrong direction to exit the stage, walking into nothingness. Like I said, walking, looking for the entrance to Narnia. It seems like at times, like, yeah, but this is the president of the United States of America. Everybody, I don't give a damn. Running for office, he should. The fact that he's president still, the fact that we have people who are working in DC, in the Democratic Party, Congress people, governors, whatever, they're literally still saying, but we got to vote for him because a dementia patient, guys, is still better than Donald Trump. And I just find that hard to believe. I'm not going to lie to you. First of all, they're both puppets. But I will say for them, it's better because, you know, a dementia patient is way easier to control because he literally is lacking the motor skills to fight for himself and make decisions for himself. So that's just crazy to me. That's just crazy. William Hayward. Robbie Burns, our newest members. Appreciate you. Blargy the man, appreciate you for gifting those. Let's see. I thought I saw something about Candace Owens. Niko, what do you think about Jimmy Dore interview with Candace Owens? I didn't watch the whole thing yet, but I did hear something about the George Floyd thing. She denies that George Floyd was murdered. Why is Owens getting attention by independent journalists? Knowing Jimmy, he probably brought her on to discuss the Israel stuff, and of course, the conversation about George Floyd is going to get brought up. Let me see if I can find, because I saw somebody on Twitter. Oh, was it the Vanguard? The Vanguard was mad about the video, but they didn't actually say what he said in response to Candace. So let me go see if I can find it, and I haven't watched that part. So we can look at it together. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch the whole interview right here. Let's see if we can go to that part though. I'm not gonna make any assumptions yet. But as far as, let me just say, oh, hold on. I could have sworn. Oh, did he put it on Rumble? Damn it. I might have to search for it. Damn it. If he put that part on Rumble, I live in Brazil, guys. So like, it's a whole process for me to get to Rumble. So that's why I'm complaining. So I might actually have to search for that part if y'all are willing to bear with me to talk about it. But before I get into that, I feel strongly about talking to the other side, being willing to talk to the other side. Y'all know that. I will not criticize Jimmy for talking to Candace Owens. I don't. I just like I didn't criticize Bree for talking to Candace Owens. I believe that if you aren't willing to understand the arguments of the other side, the logic of the other side, one, how can you challenge them? Two, how can you explain to them that they're wrong? Right? If you don't understand how they think, how they process, if you're unwilling to engage with them, then you can't learn. They can't learn. And when I say you can't learn, I don't mean you have to learn from their points necessarily, but you do have to understand them. Like how we talked about last week on the show, you can understand Candace Owens better if you watch enough of her and realize, oh shit, she makes her political logic is strictly based in experiential emotions, right? That's why she gets the private prison industry right, is because her family was directly affected by the private prison industry. That's why she gets this issue with Israel and Palestine right, because she made it very clear once she got pregnant, had her daughter, and she realized, like, damn, my daughter looks the same, that same skin complexion. What if I was in that situation as a mom? And I'm like, there's no justification that I could make for what Israel is doing. And then she gets it, right? So like, you have to understand how the other side thinks. So I would never criticize anybody for talking to the other side. And the reality is, Candace is getting attention because in this particular case, she's bucking the system, if I'm being honest, right? And it's just the business side of independent media, if I'm gonna be 100% honest. That's just like, you gotta pick the good with the bad. But I will never really have a problem with a conservative being on an independent leftist or independent populist platform and saying their side, because I personally like seeing the back and forth. I like the engagement. I like hearing the responses from the person doing the interview, and I like hearing the rebuttals from the person I disagree with. So just to explain my position on that. So if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna try to find the part where they talk about George Floyd. And if you watch the interview and you know relatively where it's at, that would be good. I'm assuming we're getting close. Hold on, hold on. You can't talk about what likely happened. You said if you watch the full arrest, it's stunning. You watch what likely happened, but you said if I watch the full arrest, everything goes away. Like, that's not a good start to this. It's not very convincing. When somebody records something from the front, generally speaking, that's the best angle to record something from. But I'm gonna hear her out, right? I'm gonna be objective here. It's not a good start, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not a good start. No one made an argument that they were hunting him down because they were black. So that's also important to remember. I don't know why that gets brought up. It was a treatment of how it was a treatment once they got there, once they arrived at the scene. So that's probably also something that should be challenged. Likely. Okay, so here's the thing about that. If let's just say George Floyd was a drug dealer, right? And I'm even willing to accept that because I'm not actually against street pharmaceuticals. I'm not against street pharmacists. I believe that the only difference between them and a lot of pharmaceuticals in the pharmaceutical industry is a license and a degree in a lot of cases. And that they were willing to sell weed whenever pharmaceutical industry was not, until they realized that they can make so much money off of it. So let's just say, though, for the sake of the argument, that he was in fact a street pharmacist. Ladies and gentlemen, what street pharmacist would knowingly inject large amounts of fentanyl? Knowingly inject, just go. Or excuse me. What street pharmacist would knowingly ingest large amounts of fentanyl? hell, or injected for that matter. No one, and I mean literally no one, is walking around saying, let me get an ounce of fentanyl. Not a single soul, because everyone knows it will kill you. Everyone. And that's, once again, this is the assumption that he's a drug dealer. So if he is the drug dealer, he knows better than anyone ingesting that much fentanyl if he is selling fentanyl, which would be weird in and of itself, because the way that the argument is presented is as if he is selling the drug fentanyl. I don't know. They just keep saying he ingested fentanyl. Like, are you saying that was he selling weed that was laced with fentanyl and then he ingested the weed? You get what I'm saying? Like, was he knowingly selling weed that was laced with fentanyl? Because if he was doing that, then in my opinion, there would have been a body count that you could link directly back to him to prove that the weed was laced with fentanyl. The weed that he was selling in particular was laced with fentanyl. And that would give more credence to the argument that he ingested fentanyl, but then it also wouldn't make any sense because he wouldn't ingest it because it's fentanyl and it will kill you. Do you get what I'm saying? Because no drug dealer who laces their weed with fentanyl knowingly would ingest it. Do you understand? So it's one of those situations because we understand, like, cops lie. Cops plant drugs, right? Cops lie, cops plant drugs, cops plant guns. This is indisputable at this point. Even Jimmy would admit that. Candace probably would not, because, unfortunately, conservatives like Candace like to go back and forth. They believe in the system, and then they believe that we should get rid of the system, and it's corrupt. And it's corrupt when it's going after Trump, but it's not corrupt whenever situations like George Floyd happen, which is weird to me. I've been pretty consistent. I say I'm not going to accept blindly the results of an election because y'all tell me the judicial system has announced that there is no reason for us to question it. The same judicial system that literally would, like, that Kamala Harris was in charge of at one point in California. The same judicial system that where I got jumped by 6 cops in a Burger King for existing, put me in a hospital. They go in, the cops go in and erase the records of me being there so I can't sue them for putting me there. Oh, after they kidnapped me and handcuffed me to the bed so that I wouldn't leave because I was never technically under arrest because they had to falsify an affidavit of arrest claiming that I was trespassing in a Burger King with a fucking receipt. That judicial system, you can't have it both ways. So, like, that's where I get into this back and forth with people with the Georgia, because the Kyle Rittenhouse situation, I get that. I get why there's so much debate and why somebody would flip sides after receiving all the information. I can understand that. But it's different with George Floyd when we watched the motherfucker sit on somebody's neck for 8 minutes or whatever it was. It's different whenever we're finding out after the fact, he ingested a bunch of fentanyl. Okay, well, what's the context of the fentanyl? What's the context of the fentanyl? Because it can't just be fentanyl. I need to know what it was. What, you just had fentanyl? What was it with? Was there THC? Was it cocaine? Was it Molly? Like, what did he ingest? What other drug was the fentanyl, or what was the drug that the fentanyl was being used to lace? Anyway, let's hear your argument. Let's hear your argument. Yeah. See, this is where I get, you know what? It would almost make more, I would consider your argument more legitimate if you said it could have been both. If you said it could have been both, I'd be like, all right. You know what? Maybe that's it. Now, once again, You can't say it could have been both in court system because then Derek Chauvin could still go to jail for it. It can still be a problem. So you got to make it so that. And also, hold up, wasn't Derek Chauvin wasn't this man removed from multiple police stations? Multiple police stations. He had to get moved, right? If I'm not mistaken. And then he got fired, and then they moved him to another area so that they wouldn't know his bad reputation. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, chat. But pretty sure that's what happened. But when you keep your knee, say he could literally. I mean, if you keep your knee on for anybody's neck for 8 minutes, I don't give a damn if it's Brock fucking Lesnar, people. They're gonna die. If you understand, if you keep your knee full body weight on someone's neck, especially when I'm saying I can't breathe, if you keep your knee on someone's neck for 8 full minutes, they're going to die. Lord, baby Jesus. I pray. Okay. If that police academy was teaching that position to subdue somebody on the ground, then that once again that's a flaw in the system, right? By the way, it's like a thunderstorm here, so if I flash out, I'll be popping back in. Just to let y'all know. But we're gonna continue. It's weird that she keeps saying the state fought for that not to be released, as if it was an attempt to prosecute Chauvin rather than an attempt to protect him. I don't know why she keeps saying it like that. Because that ain't going showing that isn't going to make the situation better. Showing if he's saying I can't breathe, it's not going to make the situation better. It's just, whatever. You do know, you can put. I don't understand what the fuck. Has anybody not been? Had these people not been in a fight, been choked, had knee in the neck, somebody put their knee right here. But if I'm like this and my neck is pushed up against the ground, my esophagus put up, I could still. By the way, speaking of the person who's been jumped by 6 cops, okay. Excuse me. I've been jumped by cops twice in my lifetime, and it doesn't even have to be directly on the knee. It probably would have been faster. He would have died quicker if it was directly on the knee. But putting your knee right here while he's already face down on the ground and he can't breathe does not mean that he's not suffocating. I don't know what the. They're he put the knee in the lower back or some shit, y'all. But the moment he goes on to say, because here's her logic. Her logic is saying there's a way that you have to subdue them. Right? There's a way that they're taught to subdue them. Okay. But why do you have to subdue somebody who you just said asked to be put on the ground? Explain that to me. Why do you have to subdue somebody who has subdued themselves, according to what Candace has said? I'm trying to figure out. I want to confirm whenever I said about him. So I'm not crazy. So, because they're using the fact like people like Candace use the fact that George Floyd was a drug dealer who had priors as a reason as to why we should be okay with him being murdered. Okay. And then I pray for Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin had 18 prior complaints against him. Do y'all know that? Police confirmed the complaints were, this is from a CNN article. The police confirmed the complaints were filed, but didn't detail why the complaints were filed or what they entailed. In other words, they were hiding it. Okay. Only 2 of the 18 complaints were closed with discipline. So he had 18 complaints. 2 of them resulted in consequences. In both cases, Chauvin only received a letter of reprimand. According to Communities Against Police Brutality, a Minnesota nonprofit that creates a database of complaints against officers in the state, Chauvin received oral reprimands for using a demeaning tone and derogatory language and other language that merited discipline. Neither the nonprofit database nor the Minneapolis Internal Affairs public summary includes dates or descriptions that incited the complaints, which I would imagine because the police department wouldn't release them. The other officer, Tao, who was also involved in Floyd's arrest, had 6 complaints filed against him with internal affairs, which one of them was still open, the summary said. The 5 were closed without discipline. So my point is, this guy, George Floyd, might have had priors, but so did Chauvin. And priors as a police officer usually means you be handling business in a way that is not becoming of an officer of the law. That's generally what that means. Unless George Floyd was a literal murderer and there was a reason to believe that he was going to kill those police officers, the way that was handled was not appropriate. And it looks like Mr. Floyd, I'm not Mr. Floyd, just excuse me. It looks like Mr. Chauvin has a habit of handling things the wrong way. I got plenty of cops that are friends. Okay? Not a single one of my cop friends has complaints against them. Now, my cop friends that I do have are black, but they don't have any complaints against them. They've never been in any trouble. It's not really that hard. This man has a history, but she's praying for Chauvin. But George Floyd's a criminal, and therefore we should subjectively assume that Chauvin was innocent and had no intent on harming him. Come on, man. It's frustrating, y'all. It's frustrating.
To divide Americans along race lines before an election?
Well, it's easier for me.
Now, I can admit that there was likely an attempt to divide Americans along racial lines or really police justice rather right before an election. I can admit that because, like I said, the problem with the George Floyd situation was if the same situation happened under Donald Trump, under Joe Biden, it probably wouldn't result in the same type of protest. I said that honestly, the killing of black people under Biden could and probably will remain the same or go up, and everyone will likely turn a blind eye unless it happens right before an election, in a race that is a little bit too close, especially if it's going to be against Donald Trump. I said that. I've been said that. I can believe that. If you want to talk about the attention that it got, right? If you want to talk about the fundraising that came from it, from the BLM 501c4 nonprofit organization that was ran by a woman who literally bought a bunch of homes instead of fighting back against police brutality and unaccountability, right? I can agree with that. But Candace, nothing you said makes sense. You contradict yourself. This is my problem with Candace. Where Candace gets it right, like with Israel, she gets it right because it's experiential. She's not pushing a narrative, right? She gets Israel right because she's not pushing a narrative. She gets even the private prison industry. She gets it right. If you actually heard her talk about it, she actually gets it right because she's not pushing a narrative. She's talking about experience. But this is from a time when she was working. I don't know if she was working at the Daily Caller still, or if she was working with Charlie Kirk at TPUSA. But ladies and gentlemen, it's very obvious whenever you tell Candace to push a narrative, she can't help but contradict herself. And it becomes clear that it's a bias. It becomes clear that you're trying to push a narrative rather than explaining the narrative objectively and concluding based off of the facts that we have what happened versus what didn't happen, or what we can say for sure at least versus what we can't say for sure. Like, for example, why the hell would a quote-unquote drug dealer supposedly ingest fentanyl willingly, knowing it will kill you? There's not a drug dealer law that sold fentanyl knowingly and willingly and decided, I'm going to hide the fentanyl by ingesting it, because they all know, everyone knows, it will kill you. So let's continue. I want to hear Jimmy's response.
You just say that you hate black people. And,
Yeah, I know. It's easier for the media too.
Kurt, you want to say something?
Yeah. So, my girl's from Florida, so she's, I don't want to say white trash, but she knows her way around police arrests with drunkenness.
Okay.
And she explained to me, and I never heard of this, the Asian cop who's saying, turn that camera off in it. The police precinct, you're supposed to have call an ambulance when a guy's on drugs like that. So that guy was supposed to be, while he's subduing Floyd, that guy's supposed to be getting an ambulance, not telling people not to film it. I don't know if an ambulance showed up, but that's massive negligence on the police's part. But if I had to guess, they're not going to say the Asian guy's at fault when they got a white guy, right? Am I wrong?
No, the Asian guy as well was sentenced, and it was that was like his first day on the job. It was literally his
I just told y'all, bruh. I just told y'all that Asian guy that she's referring to had 6 complaints already. It was not his first day on the job, bruh. The Total. That's the guy that she's referring to. It was not his first day on the job. I don't know why she just sat here and lied for the camera like that. No, it wasn't his first day on the job. He had 6 complaints prior to this. And if it was his first day on the job, then that responsibility still falls on his senior officer to not tell him what to do in that situation.
Literally there to shadow Derek Chauvin. I mean, what has happened to those police officers is a crime. They should all be released. Derek Chauvin died of a drug overdose, as he had been a drug addict for a very long time. He was a drug addict and a criminal. And unfortunately, he met his maker that day because he could not get over his addictions.
Just so, Candace, bro. He just so happened to meet his maker on the very coincidental day that someone put a fucking knee in the back of his neck. You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious, Candace? Come on, bro. Just use your damn brain. That's the problem. It becomes so obvious that you turn it off because you say stupid shit like this. He's been a drug addict this entire time. Okay? And it just so happens to be the day that the cop puts his fucking foot in the back of the neck, that he just so happens to have an overdose, and he just so happens to die. And you don't find that it's suspicious that the camera angles are fucking suspicious to you. Camera angles, Candace. But the 18 complaints against Derek Chauvin that had already been filed weren't suspicious. That you didn't even mention. You didn't even look into. Haven't done any legitimate resource with all the power and connections and the network and the money and the access that you have. You didn't even think, let me try to figure out what these complaints were before I make an ass out of myself. You didn't think about that, Candace? Come on, bro. Someone being a criminal does not mean they deserve to die. It doesn't exonerate a police for doing their job wrong, which resulted in the death of this quote unquote criminal. I don't understand why I have to fucking explain this to people. There are a lot of criminals out there, quote unquote, that have a history, that have been living a wonderful life since they paid their dues. They got family. They're living in peace. They're helping out and giving back to their communities. And that does not mean that one day in a random police stop that they deserve to die because of something that happened in another part of their life. And it is, it's ridiculous, people. It's like, you know how many coincidences have to line up? Because you're like, he had a history of drug use. Oh, he had a history? And he a big motherfucker? So he had a history, he's big as hell. And that day, coincidentally, with a knee in the back of his neck for 8 minutes, is the day that he died of drug use. Coincidentally, of the drug, by the way, that everyone knows would kill you if you ingest, hell, a little bit of it, let alone a lot of it. And no one has confirmed that he's ingested these drugs, by the way. I do know that. No one has confirmed that. So.
Now, like I said, I spent time with his roommates. I sat down, they met him in rehab. They talked about his struggles. The media turning him into some sort of an angel who died for the sake of Black people.
No one turned him into that.
An absurd lie. It's a dangerous lie. It's a deranged lie. And
hold up.
Just reserve.
So the media turning George Floyd into the hero is an absurd lie, a deranged lie, but turning Derek Chauvin into a hero isn't fucking deranged? Yeah, man, you know, he put his foot, he had to put his foot in the back of that neck, man. He had to put his foot in the back of George Floyd's neck. After she admits George Floyd allegedly said, "Put me on the ground, please." In other words, you had to put your foot in the back of the neck of a man who was already subdued in order to subdue him. So it's absurd if the media uplifts him as a hero, which I've never really saw. I saw that they were pissed. People were pissed, rightfully so, the way he was killed and the fact that he was killed. And the fact that Chauvin had the history that he's had. That's what I saw. But you literally like, we should pray. I prayed for Chauvin every day. Bro, for real, come on. See, and this is what kills people when you start talking about shit like this, Candace. This is why it's hard for people to get on your side with shit for when it comes to like Israel and Palestine. That's why we want to give you credit where credit's due, but then people like myself, we gonna come under attack every time. Because y'all know I'm objective. I'm gonna give you the credit when you get it right. But the problem is, I'm gonna come under attack every time because you're an idiot who says stuff like this. And the problem is, you're not really an idiot. You just play an idiot for your fucking puppet masters. You play an idiot for your ideology. You play an idiot to confirm your bias, to confirm them checks arriving in your bank account on time. But you're not really an idiot. You just play one for TV. Let me get my refill.
Such anger in my heart for people who think that Derek Chauvin or any of those police officers, after you watch the full arrest tape, you walk away and you go, what did these men do wrong? What did they do wrong? And then, yes, telling people to clear out when people started coming around. That's what you're supposed to do, right? They're coming around, they're starting to film. You've got a guy, you're holding him down, you're arresting him. He's been saying he can't breathe since he was standing up, you know? So unless he's going to tell you, hey, I just ingested enough fentanyl to kill a horse, because that's how much fentanyl he ingested, enough fentanyl to kill a horse, you're just thinking this is somebody that's just trying to avoid an arrest. And they keep asking him, dude, why are you acting weird? What's going on? He's standing up and saying, I can't breathe. I'm claustrophobic. I don't want to get into the police cruiser. Put me on the ground. The fact that you don't know these things really shows you how demented and dishonest our corporate media is.
And so do you know what the autopsy's cause of death was?
Yeah.
See, this is where I would like Jimmy to push back. So maybe people were upset about that. Is that what people were upset about? I don't know. No one actually mentioned where like they're upset about Jimmy in this particular topic, but maybe it's the fact that normally he would push back if he felt strongly enough about this issue. But he wouldn't even have to push back much, in my opinion. Like, what the fuck? You just said that he was subdued. You just said that he did. I'm not crazy, right? She did just say he said that he wanted to be put on the ground. So in other words, he was already subdued. So why'd you put a fucking knee in the back of his neck? That's what I'm confused about. So maybe that's what people are upset about. I don't know. Because like at that point, it's just a logical thing. You don't have to know everything about the situation to hear her words and push back. in that situation. You don't have to know the technicalities of what took place to hear her words and be like, well, hold on, based off of what you just said, why did you have to put a knee in the back of his neck at all? Right? Okay. So if that's what they're upset about, I can kind of see that.
So they had an autopsy.
And it's specifically because of Jimmy, right? We know Jimmy, when he interviews people and he feels strongly about something, or if he hears a fallacy in logic, he generally has zero problem pushing back. He'll interrupt you if he has to in order to push back. So I could see if that is what people are upset about, that I could kind of see.
Autopsy that showed, literally, you got to watch my documentary, that showed that he had enough fentanyl in him to kill a horse. So that's probably, you know what happens when you get fentanyl? I can actually tell you because I had a foot surgery. So they actually get you basically, it makes you stop breathing. That's like that's when it's working. You're supposed to stop breathing. Like it slows down your breathing. And the idea that he took as much as he did, that he even had the ability to take as much as he did and still be alive for as long as he was, is what's shocking.
It's almost as if maybe he didn't actually ingest fentanyl and it was put in his system after he died. Maybe that's why he lasted. It's like you can't tell me that the same police department that was hiding camera angles, because once again, she's like, we got to believe that the fentanyl was there beforehand, because she hasn't given any proof. There's no video proof, no proof that the fentanyl was in his system before he was choked the fuck out. There was no proof of that. Okay. Being a drug addict, if he was a drug addict and he was working his way through it, that's good for him. Being a drug addict, you would know not to ingest enough fentanyl to fucking kill a horse. Also, being a drug addict, no, you don't wake up that day and you're like, I'm going to take fentanyl. It's crazy because Candace hasn't really lived a life. I don't think that she understands that fentanyl is not a drug. Like, it's a drug, but what I'm saying is it's not like weed where somebody's like, let me get an ounce of fentanyl. Let me get 30 milliliters of fentanyl. Let me get a dab of fentanyl. You get what I'm saying? I don't think that Candace realizes no one just has fentanyl, except for the government was probably planning it and lacing everything with it. But no one just is like, I got a bunch of fentanyl. I'm gonna take me some fentanyl to relax. I'm gonna make some fentanyl in my beer before I go to bed, to help me calm down. I don't think that she gets it. No one, ladies and gentlemen, and I mean no one, is like, I'm going to purposely take fentanyl. In other words, until I hear a conversation about what drug that he allegedly ingested that may have been laced with the fentanyl, I don't want to hear that fucking argument. I'm going to assume that it was planted on him after the fact, because no one does that. Anyone who's lived a life, I lived in Miami, guys. I've been to college. You know what I'm saying? I know I wouldn't call myself a professional or an expert, but I know enough. Okay, I have enough experience. And I know, hell, I'll tell you this, I worked in Boca Raton, and if you know anything about Boca Raton is the rehab capital of the world. Fentanyl was something that unfortunately killed a lot of people because they would relapse after a while, try to do heroin again, but the heroin was laced with fentanyl, and it would kill them. You get what I'm saying? Nobody just is like, I'm about to go ahead and sell me some fentanyl. No one does that. It's not a thing. And she exposes herself. She exposes her lack of experience. What did I say? Candace only gets it right if she has to have experience in the subject, and it has to be an emotional attachment to it. And we all know she ain't really all that emotionally attached to black people, nor does she have that much experience with black men. But also, she has no experience with drugs, with weed, with fentanyl, the situation that fentanyl would be used in. Why People who take drugs of any kind, people who sell drugs, don't want anything to do with fentanyl. You don't kill your clientele. It's like she doesn't know this. So, but she's speaking so passionately about this. Like, he ingested enough fentanyl to kill a whore. So, is there a tolerance factor with this? Remember the cops who stole a pot of brownies and there's a tolerance factor. So there's a tolerance factor of fentanyl, but no, you would have to regularly take fentanyl. Like that would be. Also, what would be the drug? There might be a tolerance. Like, let's just say there's a tolerance factor, which isn't that big, unfortunately, with fentanyl anyway. Like, there's not a lot. Like, there's not much tolerance you can gain with fentanyl. That shit just kills you, generally speaking. But no one that would be an argument saying that George Floyd was regularly just taking fentanyl, a drug that no one just takes. That is not a thing. That is not a thing. I cannot stress this enough. It's not a thing. When last time you heard any of your drug user friends, any of your friends who partake in psychedelics, marijuana, okay, perhaps Somali every rave or so once or twice a year? When have you ever heard anybody say, I'm about to go cop me some fentanyl? Nobody. I've never heard anyone say that, bro. And I live in the rehab capital of the world. No, I didn't live there. I worked there. I work with people in rehab. There are some people that at the highest levels of drug dealing that cut their shit with fentanyl. At the highest levels. But it would be mixed with heroin. It would be mixed with marijuana. It would be mixed with cocaine. It would be mixed with how many druggies do you know? Bro, I lived in Miami, y'all. Oh, what you mean? How many druggies do I know? Too damn many. That's how many. I lived in Miami. I worked in Boca Raton. I used to club quite often. I know a lot of people who have taken drugs in the past. It's okay.
Well, maybe
he was an addict.
Maybe the Innocence Project will take up the case of Officer Kobe.
I genuinely hope that somebody does, and I hope that just us talking about it, that people will be outraged about what happened to those police officers.
No.
So I just wanted to play this. I saw your interview with Piers Morgan, who was Sharp's attack.
Okay, so I'm guessing that's what people were upset. I'm assuming that's why now, because he didn't push back in that situation. I thought he would push back a little bit more. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I guess that's why people are upset. But no, that's ridiculous. Her fucking argument is ridiculous. I thought that maybe I could be left more convinced, at least be more willing to envision that perhaps they have a little bit more of an argument than maybe I perceived there to be in the past. No, I'm actually more convinced now that what the fuck happened to George Floyd was wrong. I don't know how Jimmy didn't push back on that. I'm not gonna lie to you. WTP stand for justice. She is a liar. She doesn't deserve any attention. And you might be right about that. Well, she definitely lies. Well, not see. I can't even say sometimes she don't be lying. Sometimes she just feigns ignorance. It's like I'm gonna purposely not look over here because if I mention this, I'm not gonna get paid. So I gotta look over here. I can't even look at the possibility that what I'm saying isn't the truth. Because then she would feel compelled at that point to tell the truth or just ignore the topic altogether, which she can't afford to do, especially now because Ben Shapiro fired her. Anyway, Old Crow, she's stone cold sellout, but she still doesn't relate to regular people. She does not. She does not, man. Candace is detached from day-to-day life of citizens and damn sure isn't in the streets. Yeah. She likes it that way too, to be completely honest with you. I ain't gonna lie to you. The issue is that these folks lack consistency. 100%. 100%. Brandon Burks, thank you for the super chat. Been meaning to run this theory by you. I think Trump will get to take office when he wins this time. Then they'll blame the death of the USD on him. That actually sounds like a pretty solid theory. I mean, hell, he's not even in power this time. And they're blaming the anything wrong with the economy that they're actually willing to acknowledge is wrong. Because like we're in a depression, and it's weird that everybody, they keep trying to be like, no, the economy is stronger than it's ever been. And we're all like, have you lost your fucking minds? Like, have you gone to a grocery store? Have you done anything? Gas. I heard gas is crazy again. I just got back from the US, and I couldn't believe how much it costs to do literally anything. I couldn't believe it. And what's bizarre to me, and will always be bizarre to me after living in a foreign country, is how luxury in the US actually is becoming more and more affordable. It's the shit that you need to survive that is actually becoming more and more expensive. In Brazil, for example, luxury is taxed. Why? Because if you can afford to buy a luxury, you can afford to pay for it. You can afford to pay more for it. And that helps the economy, which in turn helps bring down the price of goods that people need, like food, water, electricity, free healthcare, for example. In the US, food is extremely expensive. Anything that you need, really, especially healthcare, is extremely expensive. If you want to eat healthier, it's expensive. Eating healthier here is not that expensive. I would make an argument that eating healthier in Brazil is actually cheaper than eating eating processed foods all the time. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did that, because even still, the bad things about the economy that they're trying that they are actually willing to admit, the bad things about the economy, they're still trying to pin on Trump. They're trying to say that Joe Biden is trying to fix that, when we know that the reckless spending in Ukraine, the reckless spending in Israel, our relationships with countries around the world deteriorating, the rise of the ruble and the yuan, the relationships that Russia and China are creating with the global South, the fact that Saudi Arabia no longer believes in the U.S. and is basically parting ways with the level of exclusivity that they once had with the petrodollar. The fact that Saudi Arabia is willing to work with Iran all of a sudden, right? All these things happen under Biden. Did I miss anybody's chat? Super chat. Let me know if I miss anybody's. Let me go over and check on Rockfin real quick. I didn't see anybody on Rockfin, but I'm gonna check right now. But man, that's kind of annoying. Unsub Jimmy after the Blair White interview. I did not watch the Blair White interview. I'm not gonna lie, I don't get to watch many people's shows like I used to back in the day. Oh, Dave Burt on Rockfin. What's going on? Thanks, Dave from Boston. What's going on, man? Oh man, y'all out here. Oh, Boston, y'all. Congratulations on your championship, I guess. I'm a Knicks fan, man. I'm not that happy. I'm happy for Jaylen Brown. I am happy for him, but that hurt, man. That hurt. I appreciate the tip, man. I appreciate your tip. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. What did he say during the Blair White interview? I'm probably not going to watch that because I just can't believe that Blair White is a serious person. Like, it's just weird to me that like her whole thing is being trans and then focusing on trans issues. But basically anything that comes out about trans, she's on the opposite side of it. I'm not really that one that gets all invested in trans issues. I just don't. I don't really care what people decide to do with themselves. I'm just like, whatever, it's on. It's just not my thing. I feel like just do what the hell you want. If you're an adult, I am against kids. I don't believe. I feel like if a kid can't have sex, like if you're not old enough to drink, even if you're not old enough to go to war, you are not old enough or mentally or emotionally mature enough to decide to be the opposite sex yet. You need to wait until your brain completely matures before you make that decision. So in that regard, yeah. But other than that, I don't give a shit. Do what you want to do. Like, no, you know, Caitlyn Jenner. I don't know if you call it Caitlyn Jenner because Blair is only famous for being trans. Caitlyn Jenner was at least an Olympian before she went full Trump after becoming trans, right? So I don't know if you can compare those two. Also, Caitlyn Jenner still kind of just looks like Bruce Jenner, but with a wig, if I'm being completely honest. Just being honest, guys. Most people lose their virginity at the age of 18 voluntary. No, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying about people choosing to lose their virginity before the age of 18. But I'm just saying, I don't believe that. First of all, I didn't lose my virginity until I was 19. The reason why is because I saw that once my guy friends had sex, there was a lot of reasons, but one of the primary reasons why is because I was so focused and locked in with school. And I saw that once my guy friends had sex, their primary focus was actually when the next time they were going to be able to have sex. So then that led to them partying more often, drinking more often, going to situations where people would be a little bit more loose so that there would be more of an opportunity for them to have sex, sneaking out of class, sneaking out of school, breaking rules, doing stupid shit, just because once you get it, it's like a drug. So like, I feel like there's a level of maturity that you need to have before having sex for the first time, to be completely honest with you. And because I'm speaking from experience. And, you know, now I have a lot of experience, but I waited till I was 19. And it was a whole argument between me and my girlfriend at the time because I didn't want to have sex. I'm like, nah, nope, not doing it yet. Because I'm looking at everybody else around me go crazy over this shit. I can't speak for women because I'm not a woman. I can only speak for what I've seen happen when a guy that's too young starts having sex before they are emotionally ready to deal with how it affects your brain chemistry the first time you have it. Like it does. It affects, you're like, man, shit, I need to have sex again. Like, when's that going to happen? Jimmy and his co-host should not be speaking on issues they know nothing about, and he's absolutely anti-gay. I mean, I feel like it's fair to say that people should be, shouldn't be authoritative on issues that they don't know anything about. I feel like that's a fair argument to make. As like Candace shouldn't be speaking on issues regarding fentanyl. Because apparently she thinks it's drug dealers who have a history of experience in both selling and taking drugs just decide to take a bunch of fentanyl knowing it will kill them. So that's a fair argument to make. Like I said, I don't take Blair White seriously as a person, let alone a political commentator. So I will not be watching that interview. I don't know exactly why he had Blair White on. I can't speak for that. I have no idea. Candace has some level of credibility because she, in my opinion, Candace puts herself out there more. Whether or not she's wrong is a whole different conversation. She's wrong a lot. But when you put yourself out there more, you put yourself in a position where you can be held accountable more. And therefore, that's a whole different and she's talking on more than one issue most of the time. Blair White has one niche, and she only has a niche because she's trans. And she's only has a niche really because she's trans and conservative and likes to throw the trans community under the bus in various ways. That's not a serious person to talk to. You're not even counterculture because you literally did the thing that you criticize all the time. So I wouldn't personally have Blair White on unless it was to ask her, like, why did you get a sex change just to sell out your people while profiting off of the things that you're criticizing, right? Like, that's weird. Sophia 44 said, that's not true. The purpose of the Blair White interview was to highlight how trans issues are being used by Black rock with ESG scores. What are ESG scores, Sophia? I would like to know more about that. DC said, Keaton from Due Dissident said they want to have you on the show sometime in the Rumble Post show live stream last night because someone brought the DNC for a lawsuit. Yeah, I would be more than happy to go on Due Dissidents. They cool. They cool. I like a lot of what they do. Jimmy's co-host said Floyd's death was BS because Nancy Pelosi wore Kente cloth. Was that same time? I can't even remember if that was from the same time period. All of the shucking and jiving from the Democrats blends in over time when you're black. I'm not gonna lie, it's just like a blur of Kente cloth. Speaking of which, did y'all see that weird cringy thing with Kamala Harris and with the black actress, very famous, equality scored. Oh, equality. What's it? Okay. That's equality score. What is that? I'm just having trouble drawing the connection between trans issue and equality score and BlackRock. So forgive me. Oh, DEI. Oh, okay. Oh, I hate the topic of DEI. I hate the topic of DEI because, like, first of all, the only reason that DEI would have ever been necessary is because, like, maybe y'all shouldn't stop hiring y'all fucking unqualified friends for jobs, despite these people having the exact same qualifications. So there's that. Then there's the fact that the people who criticize DEI the most, like Candace, for example, or what's that fucking dumbass for TPUSA? What is his name? Charlie Kirk. People like Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, he hired Candace as a DEI hire. TPUSA probably has more DEI hires in the political activism, quote unquote, space, political media space than anybody else on either side of the political fence. And that is not an exaggeration. They have literally people on Twitter from TPUSA saying, I'm black, and here's why I support Zionism. Black and gay. They literally engage in DEI hires. Candace, for all intents and purposes, in both situations, was a DEI hire who was really only supposed to be talking about black issues so that it would further legitimize the claims that are being made by people like Charlie Kirk and Bishop Hero. So I don't really like the conversation of DEI because I'm not going to entertain it. I can't stand the shit. It's like with critical race theory, how the topic got distorted because like of what critical race theory originally was versus what it had become and what some schools were using it as, but then how some people on the right were describing it. And I'm just like, I'm not doing this. Y'all remember how I felt about it. I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm not doing this. Because I'll tell you what critical race theory is, and I will leave it there. Because I'm not going back and forth with y'all about these random schools that decide to make critical race theory whatever they want it to be, which happens in public schools. We know this. Versus the right who then takes one extreme example and pretends like that is the norm, because that's what they love to do. They'll go on TikTok or Instagram, find one dumbass who claims to be a leftist and pretend like whatever extreme example that this person is the norm for everybody. I can't do it, bro. I'll lose my damn mind. So that's another part. Like that's another thing that I just, I won't do it. I can't do it. I don't got the energy for it. I don't got the energy for the idiocy. Sophia said, I'm trans and don't understand why she's a conservative, but I do agree with the social engineering aspects that coming from above. I can believe that there's social engineering that's gone into, because that as a black man, I am aware that our race in our struggle has been used as a part of social engineering. I mean, we literally watch Joe Biden, the segregationists, come out and say that you're not black if you don't vote for me, and somehow he still fucking won with a lot of the black vote. Out there with the black churches, I watched Kamala Harris go from, like, Kamala Harris, guys, the only person, the only black woman that I have ever seen in my life have to wear blackface to win an election. I don't even know how that's possible, but somehow that's her. That's the only way I can think of to describe Kamala Harris, is a black woman who has to wear, for some reason, blackface, political blackface, I mean, to win an election. That happens. They did it with Obama. All of a sudden, that boy went from Barry, he was born Barack, became Barry to fit in with his white friends, and then he was Barack again. So that shit, you know, Kamala was, I'm Indian, I'm very proud of my Indian heritage. That's what she ran on in California, y'all, until it was time to be president. Then it was, girl, I'm in these streets. I'm not joking, y'all. Oh, no, we're going to watch that shit. We're going to watch that. Because bro, it's so disturbing and offensive. I couldn't believe it. No, I can't. I couldn't believe it. It's Kamala Harris. I was more depressed by the actress that participated because I really like her movies. It was, y'all just listen, y'all. Well, she is kind of right. And in one sense, reproductive rights are on the line. Do you know why? Because when Democrats had the House and the Senate and the presidency, and was filibuster proof, they knew they had to pass legislation to make sure that they could codify Roe v. Wade, and they chose not to. Do y'all remember that? Because I remember. So yeah, to some degree, reproductive rights are on the line. But you can't run that same argument back after having a chance to fix that problem. Because everybody's going to remind you what the fuck happened. I was there. We were all there. We watched y'all have the ability to fix all of this shit. And y'all were like, man, y'all just want to give some money to the Iron Dome instead and give more money to Israel and send a bunch of money to Ukraine and give more money to police officers and to Border Patrol and the same ICE, by the way, that keeps getting caught up in sex trafficking rings. Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. But this is the same. They're literally engaging in a war, a judicial war against their opponent right now, so that he can't win the election because they don't want to go up against him. It is the same party that literally told the whole world whenever RFK and a couple of others entered the Democratic primary, said, hey, we just want to let y'all know we're not going to have a primary. We're not even going to have a primary. So you can go ahead and pack everything up, go back home. We're not even going to have one. But freedom to vote, right? Freedom to vote. Oh, by the way, they said if you even try to run in the primary, and like with New Hampshire, for example, if you try to run and you win some delegates and this state decide they want to break the DNC rules, we're going to take them delegates and give them to Biden. So, but hey, right to vote.
No, Taraji. Now, you know I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say to that shit. Like I said, and what's so weird about it is, like, so for those of you who have lived the Black experience, when I say Kamala Harris is the only Black woman that I know that has to put on blackface every election, political blackface, you understand what I'm saying. The worst part is, obviously Taraji is getting paid a bag to do this, but I'm not looking at Taraji like, oh man, look at her pretending to be with it. Look at her pretending to be down. Like, I'm like, nah, it's more frustrating because Taraji has that experience. She's lived that experience. It's in your aura. It's in the way you walk. It's in the way you talk. It's in the way you look. I just can't explain it. But if you got it, you got it. If you don't, you don't. Kamala, I don't give a damn if she went to Howard University. She clearly didn't study her peers. I don't know if living in Canada for too long had put her at a handicap. I don't know. But literally, it's like watching someone in political blackface or listening to someone in political blackface every time she talks. They not like us. It's a reference to Kendrick Lamar's song, by the way, because she's from California, and that's, of course, she was going to make that reference. And if they not like us, that would mean that they're not throwing a bunch of black people in jail for marijuana charges in the state that had already legalized marijuana. In that particular case, Kamala, just to let you know. Jesus Christ, it was so embarrassing. So embarrassing. The Democrats are screwed. I don't know. How do you win? How do you win whenever your next guy up, if you will, the next man up is Kamala Harris? And because you've seen that she's having to do more commercials lately. They're putting her out there more because they ain't like Joe Biden can do commercials. They ain't like Joe Biden can remember the line. He can't remember what medicine he's supposed to take in the morning, bro. Okay? Let alone remember lines from a script. I don't give a damn if it's 30 seconds. Bro. Democrats are so screwed. And that's the only enjoyment I get out of this. But it's still the realization that we don't really have a democracy. It is not in our control. And everyone feels, like the majority of the country at least, feels collectively that we're just like watching from the outside. We're like knocking on the window. We're banging on the window. Hey, yo, can we get in? Y'all keep saying there's an open sign flashing out here. It's flashing open. And every time we try to get in, we can't even find a handle. We can't even find, there's no door, but y'all keep saying it's open. And they look at you. It is open. It is open. Come on in. No, not really. It's not open. We don't have choices. Trump and Biden, but those, whatever. Those aren't really choices. Trump, if a real populist that talked about a lot of the policies that he talked about, would never be allowed to be uplifted to the degree that Trump was allowed to be uplifted to. And if he was allowed to, it would probably beat Trump at the time, back in the day. I don't know about now because they made him a martyr. They made him a martyr of the criminal justice system, which was the worst thing they could have done. I always said that. I'm like, bro, don't make Trump more relatable to black people by making him a fucking victim of the corruption of the criminal justice system. Don't do that. It's going to backfire on you. And like clockwork, that's what they did. Yo, y'all want to see this shit from Ro Khanna? I got like 10 more minutes, so if y'all got anything y'all want to ask, y'all go ahead. But I got to show y'all this too. When I got to suffer, y'all got to suffer with me because we family, and that's what happens. This man, Ro Khanna, tweeted out, Rocky wasn't the most eloquent in speech, but he was a fighter. His character conveyed his eloquence. Our message, Biden's character is his eloquence. I thought it was satire. When I first saw this on my phone, I thought it was satire. Nah, it was not. I mean, where do I start off with? How about the fact Rocky fucking lost, guys? Rocky lost in the first movie. Rocky did not win the fight, ladies and gentlemen. That was the worst possible analogy to use. Holy shit. So there's that. But Biden's character is his eloquence. Biden sexually assaulted Tara Reid and then fired her and then smeared her and then made sure that other people did the same so he couldn't be held accountable. He dragged Anita Hill's name through the dirt so that Clarence Thomas could be Supreme Court justice. Biden is literally a segregationist. This man, he said he didn't want his kids to go to school in a racial jungle. Biden's character is his eloquence. And to call Biden a fighter, how can you say that he is even a decent political fighter when he, in his current state, believes that he is in a fight against Medicare people? He had 30 seconds to sit there and think, and what was it? Oh yeah, and we finally beat Medicare. You can applause now. Bruh. Rokon, man, at it again with the bullshit. Man, look. You can call him a fighter, but he's losing this fight with Dementia right now. I can tell you that shit. He is losing that fight. What was this article talking about? I didn't even get a chance to look at the article yet because I was so disgusted. How Biden resets his campaign since he's likely not going anywhere. Oh, we gotta check this out. Okay. This article's from the LA Times, so you know it's about to be good. And by good, I mean trash. President Biden's widely panned debate performance Thursday night in Atlanta has many prominent Democrats asking a simple question. What do we do now? Swapping out Biden for someone else is likely not possible unless he quits the race himself. That is not true. I cannot stress enough, ladies and gentlemen. I can't stress enough. Anybody who's been around knows how this shit works. Technically speaking, Biden has not been nominated officially as the Democratic primary winner, as the Democratic nominee. He has enough delegates to win the nomination currently, mostly because they just decided they weren't going to have an election. But if you all recall in 2016, for example, they had to nominate Hillary Clinton officially. They had to nominate Bernie Sanders officially. Both Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton had a lot of delegates, and yet and still, and at the time, if I'm not mistaken, Hillary Clinton had more delegates, technically speaking, than Bernie. But there were a couple things that happened. One, they both had to be officially nominated at the convention. Two, Bernie Sanders actually had to suspend the rules to make Hillary the nominee, because technically it could have gone back and forth at the state that it was in. Because yes, that can happen. Three, there were delegates that actually flipped from one side to the other. So, and actually in both situations, Bernie ended up with more delegates by the end of the convention than what he had when he went into the convention. In other words, what this means is your delegates are not safe once you get to that convention if they think somebody is more equipped to be the Democratic nominee than you. And let's not forget super delegates who are super invested in the Democratic Party winning. And super delegates going to go whatever the hell they want to go. Do you want to know how we know that you can think you're the nominee even as the incumbent, and you can have a fucking floor ripped from under you just like that? Y'all know a guy by the name of Henry Wallace? Anybody? Y'all know a guy by the name of Henry Wallace? See, Henry Wallace was the former vice president of the United States of America under FDR. He was on the road, ladies and gentlemen, to being the president of the United States because everybody knew that FDR was out. The Democratic National Convention was supposed to be a formality. FDR was widely popular. Henry Wallace was widely popular. In fact, one can make an argument at this particular time, Henry Wallace is actually more popular, not only in the States, but worldwide. If Henry Wallace, and there was no rule, by the way, about term limits, because technically speaking, if I'm being completely honest, as far as the president of the United States, term limits are indeed unconstitutional. and anti-democratic, in my opinion. If you have legitimate elections, different conversation for a different day. The reason why a lot of people don't know about Henry Wallace is because the last vice president that a lot of them remember, and a lot of us get taught about in schools when we were growing up, the last person they remember is Harry S. Truman, the guy who took over after FDR died. Because after Henry Wallace had actually already won, they suspended the rules, shut down the convention, went and flipped every single delegate that they could overnight. Henry Wallace shows up the next day at the convention with FDR and finds out that he actually no longer is the VP. Overnight. This is after a count had already been done. So if you are naive, if you are uneducated enough, if you are ignorant enough, if you are dull enough to believe that they can't flip you and get you the hell up out of there at the convention, you don't know history, and you also don't understand the rules of your own fucking party, you idiot. Because they have made it very, 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 very clear. Your votes didn't count to begin with. Right? Have they not said that? Have they not said that time and time again? They literally said it during the DNC fraud lawsuit. They're like, David Axelrod was like, nah, man, the Democratic Party is not gonna get rid of Biden because the votes have already been tallied. What? You fucking dumbass? Those votes don't matter. Those votes are suggestion papers. Oh, that's suggestions. They don't really matter. Come on, bro. And maybe Roe doesn't know that. There's a chance that Roe kind of doesn't know this. There's a chance that David Axelrod and a lot of people who are saying that Biden has to voluntarily step down don't know this. There's a chance that that's the case. Because most Democrats don't know their own rules. Hell, when we sued them for violating their own charter, a lot of them didn't even realize their charter had rules that said that they couldn't rig the election. Seriously, they didn't know. So they were caught off guard by the DNC fraud lawsuit. But, like, yeah, he can be replaced, y'all. And this narrative that he has to step down voluntarily is ludicrous. It's nonsensical. It is not based in facts. It's not based in fact. It's not based in the DNC's own charter, nor is it based in history. It says here, it says some said the president needed to take a moment to survey the damage. Like Biden can survey the damage of anything, but okay. Others said it was important that he increase his campaign travel schedule, do more media availabilities, and emphasize how he's always been an underdog. A 40-year politician has been an underdog. All right. Some added that he needed to acknowledge his years and what Father Time has wrought rather than act as though age weren't an issue. Finally, there was broad agreement that, I don't know where finally came from or where this is coming from, but whatever. Finally, there was broad agreement that Biden needs to hone in on a message that contrasts his values from those of Trump, whom they describe as vain and vindictive. Yeah, this is the dog-faced pony soldier candidate, but okay. Bad debate nights happen, former President Barack Obama said on X, trust me, I know, but this election is still a choice between someone who's fought for ordinary folks his entire life and someone who only cares about himself. Biden was a segregationist who didn't help pass, was the author of the crime bill and also helped usher in what's the damn bill that got passed after 9/11? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, nah, he also helped with the Telecommunications Act of, I want to say, 96 and 97. Got his handprints all over it too. Fighting for ordinary people is literally the opposite of what Joe Biden came into power. He said, yeah, man, if you donated $200,000 to my campaign, I'll be a little bit more willing to listen to what you got to say if you come into my office. He literally said that. Patriot Act. Thank you very much, people. Yeah, it was also part of the Patriot Act. Y'all understand how crazy that is? That Obama be pissing me off in new ways every single day, I swear to God. But yeah, ordinary people. The president's campaign definitely needs more to offer clarity on the larger message they're trying to convey with respect to Trump and how horrible he is. Man, you know, it's always wild to me. I'm gonna stop there because I already see where this is going. The fact that y'all have to focus on Trump rather than focusing on Biden, like why not focus on all the good Biden has done? Why not focus on all the positive policies that Biden plans on ushering in if he were to be reelected? Why do you have to say Trump is so bad, we got to ignore Biden? Therefore, we should vote for him. That math don't be math in my brain. And I'm not really all that good at math, but that math is not really, math right. Something about it's off. And then you get back once again to the two-party system. Why is it? Why? Hold up. Because I'm obsessed with how do we get here. Anybody who knows me, relationship, friendships, people I've had to knock out once, twice, or 20 times in my lifetime. I'm obsessed with how do we get here, y'all? Why do we only have a choice between Biden and Trump? Because I remember hearing some names over the last, year or so. I remember hearing some names. And all of a sudden, there were two. Why? And why is that question never really asked? How do we get here? How do we arrive? Why did you put us in a position why we only have a choice between Biden and Trump? Because you say Trump is so bad. What do you want to put us in a position? Because they say the Trump is so bad and that the goal of everyone should be to defeat Donald Trump. Then why did you put us in a position where the only way to beat Donald Trump is to vote for a senile old sex pest segregationist? Why would you do that if that is actually the goal? It sounds like your goal, actually, above all else, is to maintain power and make sure that there's no one in place that can disrupt your network of power. That's what that's. I mean, that's just a supposition. That is just conjecture, but that's what it seems like. John Freeze, thank you very much for the super chat. I wonder if Biden's support of the genocide in Palestine has accelerated his dementia. You know what? I would like to believe that we live in a universe where that is the case. I would like to believe that. I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I've noticed? So I've dealt with people in my life at this age now that I'm at, where I've seen them deal with full-on dementia, or they arrive at this place in their life once they hit a certain age where their memory has just shattered, right? And it's not necessarily dementia, and usually they end up passing away before it becomes a bigger problem. You know what I realized about a lot of those people who end up suffering from severe dementia, severe memory loss at like maybe 60, 62, 63, and it gets worse? You know what I noticed? A lot of them like to compartmentalize. A lot of them live different lives in front of different people. I'm not joking. This is something I'm talking about family, friends, family of friends. The people who live different lives and compartmentalize themselves, and the lies that they tell to different people, the masks that they put on in front of different people, they're the ones who end up having these severe memory problems as they arrive to old age. And I likely believe it's because your brain no longer has the capability nor the capacity to keep up with all the versions of yourself that you created. So everything starts to blend in. So this is Jim Crow Joe we talking about. Come on, man. How many versions of Jim Crow Joe have we seen in the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years, let alone the last 40? This man went from 6 segregationists to you ain't black if you don't vote for me. This is that same guy. And he's having trouble keeping it all the different versions of himself together. That's what it looks like. So yeah, he has the memory issues, and it's all, in my opinion, this is just an opinion based off of observational experience. I feel as if that type of memory loss that we're seeing, and that we often see as people age, comes from people compartmentalizing themselves because they have been disingenuous, not necessarily bad all the time, because there are some people who just, and especially in the case of women back in the day, they compartmentalize themselves because that's what society forced them to do, unfortunately. That's just reality of it. But there are a lot of people who compartmentalize themselves to manipulate family, manipulate friends, to have people believe that they are a version of themselves that they actually are not. See, me, I'm too goddamn tired to pretend to be different versions of myself. I can't do it. I don't have the energy to lie to your ass. Don't have the energy to pussyfoot around facts. I don't do it, bro. I tell people, I used to joke all the time, like, bro, I wish I just wish I could disconnect and disassociate enough to be as fake as like Crystal Ball, for example. I wish I'd be wealthy as hell, y'all. I would be super rich. But I can't. I don't have it in me. It's too exhausting to maintain lie after lie and try to make it up excuse for your lie. And you can't even remember which lie you told. At least these people got videos now, I guess, of the lie that they told, so they can try to go back and look at them and figure. But no, I don't got the energy for it, bro. I would rather spend my energy remembering what truth that I hold consistently than try to figure out what lie I need to cover up for. Just saying. So there is a chance that him being, I mean, just as the example that he gave with pro-Palestine, or not being pro-Palestine, but him pretending to be anti-genocide, him pretending to hold Netanyahu accountable, him pretending to hold Israel accountable, and then sending more bombs. It gets to a point where you're like, damn, I don't even know if Biden even knows if he hates Israel or is objective to the genocide. I don't know if he remembers. He might genuinely think he hates Netanyahu now. He really might, because that's what he's convinced himself of. So, yeah, man. Anybody got any last questions before we get on up out of here? Crystal Ball was laughing in a video a while ago that Julian Assange was stuck in an embassy for 6 years. Yeah, I remember that. Oh, I was on her ass about that. Even whenever she was pretending to be progressive, I was on her ass about that. Yeah, she apparently did a backtrack of that, supposedly. But nah, I remember whenever Hassan Piker did his little conversation where he was shaming Assange, lying about Assange. Cenk Uygur, same thing. Anna Kasparian, same thing. Emma Vigilant, same thing. Sam Cedar. Sabi was right in saying that any of the third-party candidates would wipe the floor with both Biden or Trump if they were allowed to debate. Yeah, 100%. You know what's crazy about that? As much as I don't like RFK, even RFK Jr. would be able to wipe the floor with his horrible Israel stance. Horrible stance on China, even. And yet, and still, he would be able to wipe the floor with either Trump or Biden. So that just lets you know how low the bar actually is and why they don't let anybody else on the debate stage. Because you might actually figure it out. Oh, damn. Like, I didn't realize how bad shit was that this random person I didn't know knew so much more about how to fix the country and had such better ideas about how to fix the country than these two dumbasses over here. That's crazy. I didn't even know we were in episode. Yeah, but that's where we're at. You could take a lot, bro. I'm not even joking, y'all. You could take a random person off Twitter with 25,000 solid followers who just have some really legitimate political takes. They would probably be able to wipe the floor with Trump and Biden. I'm not even exaggerating. I genuinely believe that. Because it's not hard. Now, I will say once again, I do think, so they talked about how Trump and Biden both lied during the debate stage, and this is just an objective analysis of that situation I'm about to give you. I don't really like the fact they're like, man, they lied about percentage numbers, and they lied about this and lied. I'm like, well, y'all told both of them that they can't have any notes. You told the dementia guy and the hyperbole guy, like Trump is a walking hyperbole. Trump is the best at everything all the time, okay? Joe Biden is Joe Biden, okay? And you were like, y'all can't have any notes. So whenever they were fact checked about stuff and they're like, well, I mean, I guess maybe you are right because motherfucker, I don't got any notes. So, which is dumb. It's like they were setting up for a situation where Trump would actually be forced to lie so that they could be like, oh, look, he's a freaking liar. Yeah, well, Biden lied a lot too. And I can't tell you, unfortunately, whether or not those lies were purposeful or not. Because y'all told them they can't have notes about the basic statistics of the things that they did while they were running for president or while they were actively president. That's just stupid. It's like, that's like, how can you consider that to be a genuine debate, bro? When you're not debating with facts, you're debating with the very few things about running the country that you can remember. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, Joe Biden beat Medicare. Like, that's where we arrived at because nobody's allowed to have notes. Christian 999, any other person I would feel bad for, but not Joe Biden. Goddamn, Niko, I almost choked on my soup when you mentioned Crystal Ball and kids. Man. It's white supremacy on both sides of the aisle. It's white supremacy, both sides of the same coin. It's worse than that. It's worse. I wish I could be like, it's a symbol of white supremacy. It's worse than white supremacy. I mean, I can't be like it's white supremacy and you trying to go to war with Russia where it's like basically all white people. It's worse than white supremacy now. It is globalist, elitist dominance to the point where now it's about how do we protect ours, even if it means that comes at the cost of the empire. Because empires come and go, to be honest, but the wealthiest of those empires tend to stick around, if y'all haven't noticed. They tend to stick around. So, like, there are white supremacists on both sides of the aisle, but it's worse than that. It's worse than that. It's worse. It's like the white supremacy is like number 3. World War II is like number 2. The fact that any of these motherfuckers would just drop a nuke in any given location is the first thing I'm worried about. And the fact that all these rich motherfuckers are buying bunkers to protect themselves from the nuclear fallout is my primary concern. Because what the hell? Why are you so concerned about this? Is it like, did y'all have a discussion about what was going to happen? Because if y'all did, I need to know. Because I need to have a bunker too. Don't be stingy, please. I can't fight racism if I got a half of a face with my brain hanging out, my lip dripping because I'm, suffering from nuclear poisoning. It's worse. You got a man who is literally not in control of his own motor functions, and a man who he puts on and projects as if he is in control, when in fact he is not. And anyone who's paid attention to the inconsistencies in his policies, the inconsistencies in his cabinet picks, how often he argues with his own cabinet picks. He said, I tried to get out of Afghanistan. You tried? Hold on, you're the president of the United States, ladies and gentlemen. He is the commander-in-chief. He was, excuse me. Donald Trump was the commander-in-chief of the U.S. military. Why did you have to try to get out of Afghanistan? Because he admitted that he had to fight with his own cabinet, his own military administration, and they wouldn't let him do it. But all of a sudden let Joe Biden do it. Why do you, as a commander-in-chief of the U.S. Armed Forces, why do you, oh, is it because you're not actually in control and you don't want to admit it? Why would you assassinate Soleimani knowing what it could do? Where it could lead to? And why did you look so caught off guard when it happened? Is it because they actually chose to assassinate Soleimani without your consent? Like they said, hey man, let's go ahead and knock this out before Trump wakes up. And then this man gets up and talk about well, Soleimani was a terrorist. That's why we had to do it. No, Soleimani was literally known for killing terrorists. You didn't even get the homework. You didn't even study before you came and gave this speech. He was literally known for this. He was known for killing terrorists. That was like the way. I'm like, hold up. Did Trump not even know that they were going to do? Oh, shit. I guess he didn't. He probably did not. I didn't even consider that until I heard him speak about it that same day. So we got one guy who literally has no control, period. We have another guy who thinks he's in control, which is even more dangerous because people believe in him. They believe he actually will change things. The only thing positive that I could see from a Trump presidency is the chaos. That's it. Which, you know, people like myself, we thrive in chaos. Like, I get it. Like, whatever, cool. I tell people all the time, like, that shit, to me, the chaos means shit gets exposed accidentally. So I guess from that perspective, yeah, cool, whatever. But don't mistake me acknowledging the chaos of a Trump presidency with pretending he's in control of anything, because he's not. He's not. And I don't know why people won't accept this. Like we didn't watch Operation Warp Speed. Like we didn't watch Trump appoint John Bolton, Mike Pompeo, Brett Kavanaugh, ladies and gentlemen. Do y'all like the author of the Patriot Act? Not the author literally, but he was a legal mastermind behind the Patriot Act. Part of that circus that they put on for Brett Kavanaugh was to distract away from the fact that he was a legal mastermind behind the Patriot Act. Like, y'all think that was really Trump's choice? Why was Trump constantly having to fire people that he picked? Because they didn't do what he wanted to do, or they did things that he didn't want them to do. And then he had to go around and pretend like he supported what they did. That man, Trump, was constantly at odds with Mitch McConnell. Bro, Mitch McConnell was basically supposed to be working for you, and y'all almost never agreed on anything. And once again, when it comes to Syria, when it came to Afghanistan, when it came to Iraq, why is the bro is literally the commander-in-chief of the U.S. military. That's the one area of the government where he actually doesn't really have to consult with that many people. And even if he's consulting with them, it is merely to consult, because my decision is final because I'm the commander-in-chief. And he's like, they won't let me pull out. That's weird. I didn't know a boss had to consult with his employees about what he's allowed to do. Oh, unless you're not actually the boss. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You seem to dislike both candidates. It's because they're white? Sure, if you want to go with that. If you want to just ignore everything else that I just said. I'm sure somebody will feel that way. Even though my disdain for Obama outweighs my disdain for probably damn near anybody else in politics. But I think I got all of the. Yeah, I think I got everything. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to all the new members. Make sure that y'all subscribe. Consider becoming a member of the channel so y'all can get some of this backstage content. We're gonna be doing a lot of cool stuff for the members. I'm really excited about it. Make sure y'all like this video. Make sure y'all share this video, and let me put my Telegram in this chat so y'all can go to Telegram and make sure that y'all find me there so y'all can get updates on all of our news and content and cool stuff like that. Bong bong. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning into this week's episode of Mimosa Mondays on For the People podcast. Make sure y'all once again, share, and subscribe. But more than anything else, remember, find your balance. Peace.